There is definitely something in this water, and it doesn't want me to be here. But I'm already dug in, hidden right here at the edge of this swamp, right below the city lights.
Tonight, we're camping in an urban swamp. But first, we've got to navigate the biggest mall in Atlanta.
Lenox Mall is the place to shop in Atlanta, and it's known across the southeastern United States as one of the biggest malls, one of the nicest malls, one of the busiest malls in America. It is in the heart of North Atlanta, and our mission is simple. Navigate through the mall and then find our way to this pedestrian footbridge, and from there we'll enter the swamp. Once we cross the bridge, the swamp is only a couple hundred yards away down this pedestrian footpath. It is tucked smack dab in the middle between train tracks, local rail, the interstate, and of course the middle of the city. There is a lot of ways this could go wrong, but only one way to find out.
Okay, so we just left out the back of the mall. What you did not see in there was a security guard came up to me and said, "You need to put that camera away or you will be escorted out of the mall." And I thought, maybe you're right, I'll put it away for a little while. But we are now through the mall, headed towards the pedestrian footbridge. The terrain's about to change a lot.
We are about to veer around a corner up here, but there's some people sitting right nearby, so we're gonna cut the camera off. But right down this trail, just a couple hundred steps, is a lost corner of the city. No one ever spends the night here, but tonight we will. This is our most densely packed urban mission yet, and it's already got me nervous because there are so many ways that this could go wrong. But I am going to have to take my time on the trail, scouting the best entry point and waiting for the perfect timing. Let's hope this risk is worth the reward.
So we're right here at the swamp now. There's the pedestrian trail behind us. There is a pretty heavy amount of foot traffic on this trail. It's gonna make it a bit trickier than normal. There's a few people ahead of me. I think I'm gonna go walk a little farther down the trail, scout out the entry points. But I'm gonna probably break out the drone, try to get some nice sunset pictures, and really scout the entry point up here on this far end. But we have trains coming through and other coverage, but I see some other walkers, so we're gonna have to really time our entry. I'm gonna walk past up here, stay patient about my entry, but I do see in front of me here some possible entry areas and some possible hidden spots, but we're gonna have to be super careful, and it's still pretty bright out right now, so taking care is the key.
Since it was still daylight and there were people walking around, I figured let's go ahead and do a little more drone photography and check out these geese, and then let's also check out the approaching sunset. It was honestly a beautiful part of the day. Gives you a little perspective on how we are really pretty much in the middle of the city. I also drew the attention of a few people by flying the drone. They saw me, and so a few people stopped and asked some questions about it or looked at the remote control and the video. And here's my new friend Leo. Leo said he wanted to get himself the same drone. But Leo, if you're watching, good meeting you, bro. Anyway,
all right, we just put up the drone. Hopefully we got some cool footage. We might try to break it out again, but we're strapped on the chest harness, and there's some people walking around, but it's about time to enter the woods, so let's get it. All right, it feels crazy every time you do this. But we do it. We gotta push through these briars. I should have put the gloves on. Yep. Okay. We're entering down a good area. I'm telling you, it feels very different once you get down here. Oh. Okay, we're down off the trail, but you can still see lots of cars, lots of light. So we're just gonna lay low right here and kind of poke around looking for where we're gonna put our tent up. But we're in a pretty good area, nice quiet corner of this little wetland. But man, it's always crazy once you step out of civilization and into the wild. And although I'm only 40 yards off the bike path, I'm still in the wild right now, that's for sure. We are still hidden, but we have a tarp up over our heads, a camouflage tarp. I'll show you that later with the night vision, and we will explore a bit, and then we'll try to maybe cook something in a while. I'm gonna check the time. 6:52, so it's not that late. That's a good thing, but I'll tell you something. Let me tell you something. Okay. I heard a huge splash when my back was turned to the water. Twice. And I mean, it sounded louder than a duck. It sounded like someone threw like a big brick out of their car window off the interstate beside me, and it splashed in the middle of the lake. And that's happened twice. And I don't know if you can tell, but these cars going by, right? You'll see better with the night vision, but they flicker light all across the trees around me and the water. It's beautiful, but it's also eerie that there's light on me even though I'm back here in the dark. I'll say this about this area we're in. It is hard to get to. It would be hard for someone to sneak up on me, so that feels good. But we're gonna explore some after we get our camp set up a little bit better. There is stuff definitely right there out in the middle, making ripples. I think it's Canadian geese. Interstate. And us here in between. Look at that ripples. What in the world is that? I gotta get the night vision on these guys. Whatever this is. Holy smokes. I think we might have a beaver. Remember how I said it was like, sounded like someone threw a brick off the interstate? I think there's a beaver that slapped its tail. He didn't like us setting up our camp, and twice he slapped his tail when my back was to the water. I really think that's what it was. At first I thought maybe there was like a homeless person around that had a camp nearby and threw a rock in the water to scare me. But then the more I think about it, the more it makes sense that it was a beaver. And so we're gonna keep looking for that beaver, especially if he comes over to this side, and we'll use the night vision. But that was crazy. And it is beautiful how there's just trains coming by, that highway. It's beautifully busy, yet so wild back here, and so alone, yet we're right in the middle of it. It's just crazy. I am tired. I am so glad I brought the garden snips, and I'm so glad I wore these gloves, and I'm so glad I wore these boots. But let's get to cooking some dinner.
So as we got to setting up to cook our dinner, we knew we had to make a very small fire so that it wasn't noticeable. But we came across a problem, which was a lot of the ground and material was wet, so it made for a lot of smoke, which stressed me out to no end. Okay, so we have dug out the dirt and we put 2 rocks in, which creates essentially a very small gap, and we're going to rest our bowl here, and we're going to fill this with the fire. Still, that looks a bit high on that side. Yeah, we might fix this around. Might need a little bit more digging to get that part out so that there's a nice gap there. Okay, so we are working on building our little fire right here in this gap. There are so many police going by. I just cover the headlamp right when it happened and they come by. So if you guys know me, you know I love fire and you know I love cooking spicy food. But this fire today was very stressful because the fuel was wet, which created a lot of smoke and kept burning down. I didn't want to build a big fire, obviously. I had a constant fear of getting detected either from the flame or from the smoke. And so this is a very truncated piece of video that shows the long 30-45 minute process that it took to get the fire where we needed it before we could cook. But we were patient, we kept working on it, and we got there. But you know me, we have some ramen for this fire.
Man, oh man, this meal has taken so long, and this smoke has been so stressful, but the noodles are coming along. You can see they're almost boiling in there. They've had a bit of seasoning, but here's what we're going to really add. This is our little makeshift kitchen over here. We're having it with smoked salmon with Szechuan chili crisps. But before that, to our ramen, we're going to add Espelette pepper, and one of my favorites of all time, Aleppo pepper.
We did round 2 of adding some seasonings.
Okay, first bites. Oh my. Szechuan salmon, but that is good. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of heat in that, but it's so good. Oh. So here's what our final product's looking like. Holy heavens. It's a subtle heat. Oh my gosh, it's like a sweet, savory, subtle Moroccan, Middle Eastern heat with this Szechuan. Oh my god. This is worth the wait. This is so worth the wait. My chef friends would be impressed with this. Oh, it's got the best heat. And it's like, it's not burn you heat. It's just, look at how that looks. Look at that red broth. I will drink that broth. Oh my gosh. It is beautiful what we're working with right here. I'm gonna make this for my friends. I've decided this is the recipe I'm gonna take home and make for people. If you don't like ramen, you have not had it like this. This is like a 9.1 or 9.2. This, there's always room to improve, but this is amazing. And the fact that the fire, I had to burn it low and slow for so long, worked out perfectly. Perfectly. I'm gonna write that recipe down, and I'm gonna one day open a ramen store, and that's gonna be on the menu. Okay, let's get our camp set up. You can see that first off, my nose is running from the heat, but second off, it is cold out here. And that fire's been nice to cook with, but I need to get my tent set up above me, mattress inflated, and sleeping bag set up. And I need to get some warmer socks on.
So after I cleaned up my dining area, I borrowed these socks from my wife. I figured they'd keep me warm and help me blend in the wildlife. And I set up my air mattress, my sleeping bag, and the hammock just in time to catch a beautiful view as the weather temperature kept dropping and dropping. And it wasn't as bright as this photo in reality, but it was beautiful with the lights flickering on the water and this little glow from the city across the pond.
So I'm holding the headlamp up here and I'm in the tent. It's just beautiful, it just feels nice. It's a very cool night, but I've got a good sleeping bag. I'm wearing a hoodie and a scarf, and everything's all good.
Well, good morning. It's 5:55. I set my alarm, but I woke up at 5:54. I did wake up a couple times throughout the night. Some noises. Oh, I had to go to the bathroom and it was so cold. It was so hard to get my boots on. That was not fun. But we are now gonna wake up and warm up.
Before we break camp, I hope this gives you an idea right here of how beautiful a spot I was in. How secluded a spot. I mean, that was my view right there. Well, right here, we're gonna take our shelter down, pack our bag up, and get going.